Hi everybody, this is Moss Jackson. Welcome back to Mondays with Moss. This is basically a weekly series where I talk about some ideas about how to navigate a great life, a life of success, accomplishment, and satisfaction. And I've been thinking about what we've been going through over the last half year. Can you believe it's almost 6 months of this virus and isolation and increasing incidents of illness and people dying and are being interned at home and trying to figure out, are we going to get back to normal? What really is normal? What's the new reality? And along with the virus, we have all the chaos, political chaos, economic concerns, racial tension. I'm just wondering how much capacity you have left, how much capacity I have left. I'm noticing I have to work harder every day to keep myself grounded, to set boundaries, to maintain a positive perspective, and to take actions that lead me to live a really good life. It's not as easy as it was before. I have to work harder. And I'm imagining you do too. There's nothing wrong with working harder. Sometimes we have to gear up in order to really keep our feet on the ground and stay focused, particularly when we're hit with the virus and all this other stuff that's coming at us. So I want to talk about last few weeks I've been talking about living life as a victim, living life as a survivor. And last week I started talking about living life as a navigator. Navigators have something that's rare. Only about 20% of the population seems to be living life as a navigator. The rest are into victim or survivor mode. So last week I began the talk. I wanted to kind of just review some of the takeaways that perhaps you took away or would like you to take away. Remember, there are invisible forces that limit us. These limiting forces are basically beliefs that we develop early in life, probably sometime between 2 years of age, 8, 9, 10 years of age. They may get modified later, but they get lodged in to the unconscious, even to the body, and we're often unaware of what these beliefs are that determine how we see life and whether or not we're successful and happy. The negative beliefs can definitely limit your success. They really put a limit. It's like carrying excess baggage, like carrying an anchor around with you. Life is hard enough, much less if you don't know your negative beliefs or what to do about them. We really are quite handicapped. But we have the good news. We have the power to change beliefs to enhance our success. So example, what's a negative belief? I never get a break. In contrast to, hey, it's just a matter of getting up at bat and taking a swing at the ball. Sooner or later, I'll get my break. A negative belief, another one is, I have to win at all costs. That's often the belief of the survivor. Instead of, let me choose my battles. I don't have to die on every hill or kill somebody on every hill. Another limiting belief, often of victims, is why try? Nothing ever changes. Instead of a positive belief, success rewards those who prepare and take action. So these beliefs, I'm calling them invisible beliefs. Why? Because often we don't know consciously and verbally what our beliefs are. So they just operate in the background like a silent hum. So as I said before, the good news is that we can actually change negative to positive, and we can move from being victims and survivors to being navigators. There is a formula that I've developed over the last 20 years. And the formula basically is, what is success? It's passion, plus having specific goals, plus having high impact actions, and being resilient. That's the formula. The formula has come out of my experience, but also really having studied many, many masters as success coaches. And I'll talk more about this. The formula allows you to design your life rather than life designing you. Okay, so what would you rather? Would you rather be the designer or the designed? My choice is I'd rather be the creative one, the designer, the architect, the captain of my boat, rather than a passenger just being floated along. Now, this formula and these foundations, particularly being grounded, knowing who I am, what my strengths are, my weaknesses, being able to set boundaries, both externally, who I want to be with, who are my toxic people, who are the people and activities that are life-enhancing, and maintaining a positive perspective. Remember the positive perspective of your North Star, something keeping you guided, moving in the right direction, a vision, a purpose. These foundations allow you to better manage your toxic thoughts, which I'll talk about today. They also allow you to get a perspective, where you're going, and to maintain a positive sense. And most importantly, allow you to have a sense of well-being and focus greater than your worry. And remember, you're not your thoughts. You're the witness to your thoughts. You're the creator, the designer of your thoughts. And consciously, being mindful, we want to create a conscious life, not an unconscious one. Okay, so today's agenda. Is there a formula for success? Yeah, I gave it to you a little while ago, my success formula. But I also want to give you something called power to act and take control. So recently I've been working with an 18-year-old, let's call him Rick. And Rick called me up the other day and he said, Dr. Jackson, I'm really quite troubled. For 2 weeks I've been doing really well. I've been staying positive, staying focused. But today, or a couple of days ago, something happened that threw me into the pit, the dark pit. I said, what happened? He says, well, I was working and I put something in the wrong place. And I really panicked. I think I got triggered and I just fell apart. I said, so what were your thoughts? My thought was, my manager is going to yell at me and be disapproving and fire me and I'll be in trouble. I said, okay, so I'm curious, what did you do with the mistake? He says, I already corrected it. I put it back in the right place. I said, so have you been able to get rid of that negative thought that you could be in trouble? No, I'm still stuck with it. Now, what went through my mind as a therapist and coach was he's really stuck on an old belief, an old limiting belief called not good enough. This is the youngster who grew up with a father who was very critical, disapproving, and harsh in order to shape his son to be successful. His son took it as proof that he wasn't good enough because he never got a pat on the back. He never got, let me see what I can do to help you, or just take a look at this. So he became a perfectionist. Hi, Michael. Glad to see you. He became a perfectionist and was very limited and controlled by a negative belief that I'm not good enough and nothing I do is going to really make it work. Well, we helped him recognize the trigger and a couple other things. He acknowledged that he got caught up in the negative belief. And he didn't beat himself up. He said, oh my God, I didn't realize my belief got me. I wasn't even thinking it. It just took me over. And I got triggered by the mistake. And I really blew this out of proportion, didn't I? That was really good. He was acknowledging. He took accountability. He owned his thinking. And then he said, let's take a look at what I can do to kind of regain some grounding here. So some of the things we're going to be working on together, because there's a new client, is developing a growth mindset and curiosity versus a fixed mindset. A fixed mindset is, I'm a loser, or I got to be perfect, or if I don't do it the right way, I'm in trouble, period. A growth mindset, I learn from experience. Of course I'm going to make mistakes, but I'm going to own my mistakes and do better every time. Look, inventing the electric light bulb. How many times did Edison attempt the experiment? From what I've heard, the rumor, the legend is anywhere between 1,000 and 10,000 experiments. So he failed 9,000 times or whatever and finally got the damn light bulb to light. That's a growth mindset. He kept learning from mistakes. So that's what I want to teach my client, Rick, how to learn from experience. Having a strong and clear action plan and be resilient. If you have a plan of action and you know what you're out to accomplish and you're willing to keep plugging away and learning from it and bouncing back. Unfortunately, he got caught up with a mistake and he fell into the hole. My coaching got him back on track and he said, now I'm back in the game. What's great about him is he really is resilient. Okay. Also, an intention to stay, to have strong positive emotion, an intention plus a strong positive emotion. So if you have an intention, so I have two intentions. One intention is I have a strong, vital, and healthy body. So I'm going through some medical issues now, so I keep coming back to that to keep myself focused and remind my body it's healthy, strong, and vital. I have another strong intention, which is I attract abundance with ease and joy. Not necessarily finances, but good people, good experiences, learning how to paint, being a better piano player, and whatever else I'm doing. So those are my two strong intentions. And I pair them with a very powerful belief and a visual image, which I will teach you later on. Not today, but next week I'm going to start teaching you some very specific skills, giving you the background and kind of the foundations of how to think like a navigator. So intention plus strong positive emotions. I think very importantly is having emotional intelligence. particularly during these difficult times. What do I mean by emotional intelligence? 4 basic skills. One is, are you aware? Are you aware of your strengths, your weaknesses, your limiting beliefs? Number 2, do you have self-control? Can you control your fear and your anger? Mostly fear. I think most of us now are kind of stuck with fear, but anger is not lagging far behind. 3, do I have empathy? Can I relate to other people? See the world from their point of view. Show a curiosity. Hey, tell me more about that. I don't see it the same way as you, but let's discuss it. Great technique and strategy to keep you out of a power struggle. Who's right or who's wrong? And lastly, are you a good problem solver? Can you figure out options and take action and see what happens? So I think really important to being a life navigator is you have an internal, intrinsic sense of your self-worth rather than relying on comparing yourself to other people. Are you doing as well as them? Are they doing better than you? Are you doing better than them? Do you have a better car? Did you go to a better college? Those are all ways that really will end up making you feel not quite good enough. You know, hey, Jeff, good to see you. Thanks for joining. So an intrinsic sense of self-worth is I have value. I care about myself. Regardless of the number of times I fail, I trust and respect myself, and I will keep going on. That's called courage, it's called resilience, it's called patience. Don't quit, but you got to keep reminding yourself you're okay. There are certain warning signs I want to just remind you of. We do get triggered, just like Rick got triggered, my 18-year-old. I get triggered. I get triggered when I think someone's annoyed with me, or if my clientele drops, or I leave a session and I haven't checked with my client. What did you get from today's session? Is this worthwhile? Are you getting something from it? Sometimes my negative mind takes over and starts reminding me that maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was. So we get triggered by events. Are you separating fact from story? Really important. My client this morning, there was a fact. He misplaced something. The story he made up was he's in trouble. He's going to get fired. He's not good enough. That was not true. He believed the story over the fact. Once we separated the fact from the story, it was easy. We figured out what he could do to solve the problem. Also, a big warning sign is, are you taking things too personally? Are you overreacting when something goes wrong? Blaming yourself, worrying that you're not going to be liked. Probably you're into storytelling. Okay. So I want to finish up with, from what I understand about Chinese temples, which I understand very little, but many, many years ago, a wise coach, mentor told me, in many Chinese temples, they have 2 ferocious-looking statues outside the front entrance. And also many of the Chinese Asian temples have very steep stairs. So you have to climb up very carefully as a warning. You're coming in here, be careful. Keep your eyes and ears open. But these 2 statues, I want to mention them. One statue represents danger. See, the word crisis comes from 2 words, danger and opportunity. So these 2 statues represent danger. Don't come in here naive. Come in here, be a seeker of knowledge. And the other one is opportunity. Create your opportunities. So navigators are aware of danger in the world. They don't let the danger stop them. They're thoughtful, and they turn danger into opportunity. So as we go through this over the next several sessions here on Mondays with Moss, I'll be talking to you about the specific skills and ways of thinking that will allow you to become a navigator. And hopefully this will become the basis of a new book. Not quite sure what to call it yet. If you have any ideas, let me know, and I'll acknowledge you as the one who came up with the title. Hope it's a good one. I'm struggling with it myself. It's an opportunity, though. It's not a problem. And then I want to talk about what are some of the post-COVID skills it might be useful to think about. So as we move out of the COVID crisis, creating opportunities for you to become more masterful, more emotionally intelligent, more resilient, being able to engage people with greater curiosity and empathy. So I hope you enjoyed today's session. Hope you got something out of it. Sometimes I think I talk too much and throw too much at you. Sometimes I think I should make this a 2 or 3 minute piece, which, by the way, if you think I should, let me know. I'll consider that and try to be more appropriate in terms of what your needs are. Because really the purpose of this is to give you as many skills and assets and resources to live a great life. a life of extraordinary life, a life of success, happiness, and accomplishment. Okay? And there's some sources you can go to on the top. If you want to get in touch with me, love to hear from you. You want some coaching? Great, let me know. I'm available. Anyway, have a great week. Watch your triggers and take one step at a time, and happy navigating. Okay, guys. Bye. See ya.